Waves clash. Birds chirp. Wind blows. That can only mean one thing. The greatest game on Earth is coming back a fifth time. 20 people will battle it out for the title of sole survivor. They will be split onto 2 tribes of 10. However, what's the catch this season? Well, with 20 people competing, each of them knows someone else on the opposing tribe. That's because this season is the season of rivals. Each person has a rival in this game, and it's someone they know and despise from their regular lives. We have familial relationships, ex-romantic relationships, ex-friendships, and more. Will they come together and work as a duo? Or will they clash and target each other? With the game lasting 30 days, only 3 people will reach the finale, and 1 will be voted as sole survivor. Justin, the host, stands in front of the 20 castaways. By now, they each know who their rival is on the opposing tribe. Justin faces the red tribe and asks the girl on the far right to say her name and what her general thoughts are on this rival's twist. She says her name is Jaya, and that she is pretty scared of this twist, knowing there is already a potential enemy waiting for you on the other side. She especially feels worried because she knows how her rival, Adriana, really feels about her. Justin then turns to Orange to ask Adriana what she thinks about Jaya's answer. Adriana smiles and shrugs. She doesn't care what Jaya says and would rather think about other things right now. Jaya rolls her eyes in response. Justin then asks the guy in the orange sweater on the orange tribe to name himself and talk about his rival. He says his name is Sam and that he's pretty nervous that his rival is his ex-girlfriend, Sarah. He points to her, the woman in the overalls. Justin asks him to clarify why he's nervous, and he says that Sarah is a very paranoid and emotional person in general, so he feels like their past will come up a lot if they ever meet up on the same tribe. Justin then asks Sarah what she thinks about Sam being on this season, and she says she's glad he's on this show so people can see the true him. Everyone scoffs at her response and she smiles. Sam nervously smiles and stays quiet. Justin then reveals the tribe names. Red is called Huhu, translated to the word anger. Orange is called Hupai, translated to the word revenge. They all cheer and Justin lets them know they can now head off to their respective camps. They head out. Huhu arrives to camp and immediately starts spreading out to upgrade their shelter and gather supplies for a fire to stay warm tonight. Sophia immediately talks with Karen, wanting an immediate ride or die in the game. She tells Karen she feels like the two of them are the strongest women on the tribe, hence why they would be powerful as a duo. Karen says she'd be down, so the two of them split off to avoid suspicion. Sarah and Malum in the meantime also hit it off strong, wanting to work together. They both bond over how much they hate their rival. Malum talks about how he made exposing videos about Emma, his rival. He claims she's a problematic YouTube personality and he's tried to take down her videos multiple times, but failed. Sarah then briefly mentions how Sam cheated on her and tried to make it seem like she was going crazy for assuming that. However, she saw who he followed on social media and it started making sense to her that he was dating someone he claimed was a friend. Malum hopes that the Orange Tribe goes to tribal first because he knows for a fact that Emma has a horrible personality that will likely get her voted off first. Liana, Jaya, and Eric talk about how great it is to be on Survivor. Liana brings up how the rivals twist definitely changes how people will play now. Jaya calls it a reverse blood versus water season. Eric says that at this point, it's important to align with people who have similar interests in the game. Jaya agrees and asks them to never trust Adriana in this game. She promises to never trust Liana's dad, Boo Boo, and Eric's ex-colleague, Kaden. They all laugh at her statement. Later on, Sophia joins Sarah and Malum and offers an alliance with them. Malum instantly smiles and says he would be delighted to work with her. He's excited the game is starting off with a bang. Sophia says it's better to start alliances now and not wait a few days down the line. Sarah agrees and says that if you play too late, you simply won't make it far, especially on a tribe of 10 people. Meanwhile, Liana and BJ instantly bond over similar interests. BJ talks about how he has always been a mama's boy. Liana smiles and says she also adores her mom and has always stuck by her side during hard times. BJ then respectfully asks her what her relationship is like with Boo Boo. Liana says that Boo Boo has never supported her childhood and always looked out for himself. Growing up, she barely knew him as a person because he always hung out with his friends and visited local bars at night. Because of his past actions, it came back to bite him because he lives all alone now. She doesn't feel bad for him at all and would rather never meet him this season, even if it means she has to go before him. BJ breathes out and promises he'll do what he can to make sure that man goes home. While many others socialize throughout the day, Romero walks around camp alone for the most part. Eventually, he stumbles across the Red Tribe hidden immunity idol and immediately shoves it down his pants. He tries to act natural and walks away. On Hupai, everyone splits off and walk around camp. Sam and Tanner instantly link up and bond as brothers. They shake hands to make their alliance official and plan to bring in more people into their alliance. While looking around camp, Jared tries to look for a hidden immunity idol. He's never watched Survivor, but found out that there are things called idols that can be hidden around camp. He didn't find anything yet, but will keep looking. On the other hand, Adriana looks around for an idol and eventually finds the Orange Tribe idol. She becomes excited and hides the package in her armpit. She then sticks her tongue out and taunts Jaya to the cameras. Emma and Allison bond on a personal level. They realize they are complete opposites in life. Emma is all about self-beauty and loves attention, while Allison is more shy and is never really self-confident. Emma says that this can actually be an interesting duo because nobody would think they are working together. Allison agrees and says it would greatly benefit the two of them. Eventually, Sam intrudes their conversation and the both of them stop talking game. Sam asks them how they're doing, making it very obvious that he's suspicious of the two of them talking game just earlier. Emma replies that they are just gossiping about each other's rivals. Sam makes a joke and asks why they didn't invite him to the conversation because he wants to gossip about his ex, but neither Emma or Allison laugh or react in the slightest. Meanwhile, Tanner, Ivy, and Anna discuss working together. Tanner is the main person pushing for this alliance and claims that Sam is someone he recently spoke to as well. Both Anna and Ivy say they are down for this alliance. Anna then tells them she already distrusts a few people. She names Allison and Emma as an immediate duo because she saw the two of them talking in the distance, clearly whispering at points. She also says that Jared is on her radar because he's constantly digging in the sand, most likely looking for an idol. Ivy rolls her eyes and says that Jared already pisses her off and doesn't see how she'd ever work with him. She goes as far as to say that her son-in-law, Mark, is less annoying than Jared right now. Boo Boo and Adriana start bonding over discussions of their rivals. Adriana decides not to reveal too much about her past with Jaya. She lies a bit by claiming that their personalities were complete opposites, hence how they ended up hating each other. Boo Boo opens up about how he somewhat feels bad for Liana. He saw her face on the mats earlier and knew how nervous she felt. He can tell she will talk badly about him, but he won't ever diss her this season. Adriana feels somewhat sympathetic in this situation and gives Boo Boo a hug for his genuine feelings. Day 1 turns into night 1. At Hoo Hoo, most of the tribe hang out at the table. They crack some jokes and even attempt to imitate their rivals. Karen eventually imitates her cousin, Tanner, and says, "Y'all, I can't tell you how much I love straight people." Everyone is shocked by her diss and she simply shrugs, claiming that pretty much sums up why she hates him. Mark instantly felt disgusted by her imitation and even tells her how bold she is for doing that. Karen shrugs and says he doesn't know Tanner personally, so it's going to take time to get used to the truth about him. Later in the night, Mark talks with Sarah and Romero about how uncomfortable he feels around Karen. Sarah asks him why he feels that way, and Mark says it's because Karen gives off a bad vibe from her nasty imitation of her cousin. Sarah scratches her head and says she was probably indicating that he doesn't support her bisexuality. Mark doesn't get why she would do that on the first day and feels like this is a sign that she's a crazy person to be around. Sarah finds his opinion strange but shrugs it off. Romero says nothing the whole time. Malum chats with Eric and asks him how he feels about the tribe. Eric admits that he currently likes everyone on a personal level. The only people he feels uneasy about are Mark and Sophia. He feels like Mark has different opinions from everyone else, which can get uncomfy for most, and he feels like Sophia is playing the game way too hard right now. Malum agrees but also states that they both seem like strong challenge competitors. The key to getting further into the game is to have a strong tribe, and one component to this is challenge strength. Eric then agrees and says it's very likely they'll need them both for physical challenges. On Hoopai, Sam and Caden chat about aligning. Sam claims that they can form a brothers' alliance with the two of them and Tanner. In the most disinterested manner, Caden claims he likes the idea. This makes Sam think he's lying, but he goes along with it and hypes himself up for this trio. In the meantime, Adriana decides to flip over the trash bin and finds a lot of random rubbish in it. She decides to form a pile and start stomping in it from boredom. Adriana then goes to Emma, knowing very well that the two of them love evil vibes. She rants to Emma how boring everyone is on the tribe. Emma agrees and says they need more spice. She rolls her eyes when she brings up Sam and Tanner. Adriana yawns after spitting out Caden's name. Emma then puts on a southern accent and mocks Boo Boo. They both laugh uncontrollably for most of their chat. Ivy meets up with Sam, someone Tanner mentioned would be a solid alliance member. She asks him if he wants to talk game right now, but he claims he just wants to go to bed soon and would rather not talk game. Ivy nods and says they can talk tomorrow. Sam sighs and stares into the distance, pretending to yawn right afterwards. Ivy then puts her hands on her hips and asks him if he has a problem with her. He turns towards her and squints. Ivy then loses her cool and tells him to never talk to someone like that ever. He asks what he did wrong, and she says that actions speak louder than words. She even makes a small dig at him, claiming that Sarah made the right move breaking up with a disrespectful piece of trash. She walks off, leaving Sam startled. Ivy finds Tanner awake and immediately tells him that she's not working with Sam. He asks her what went wrong, and she explains how horrible his attitude is towards her. She knew right away that he's a douchebag, especially after hearing Sarah's words on the tribe mats this morning. It adds up that Sam is a horrible person. Tanner tells her they'll go to sleep now and talk this through tomorrow. She apologizes to him for her sudden rant and heads to sleep. Meanwhile, Sam talks to Anna, calling Ivy crazy. Anna listens to Sam talk about Ivy for over 20 minutes. She eventually tells him that she can't listen to his rant anymore because she wants to go to bed. She says that the two of them can't show that they are arguing, otherwise people will pick up on it and attempt to vote one of them off to keep the tribe at peace. Sam doesn't say anything in response to that and instead just says goodnight. Late in the night, many people fall asleep. Sam is still awake and decides to walk over to Ivy, who is sleeping in her sleeping bag. He stares over her for several minutes. Suddenly, he notices Tanner calling him over. He heads to Tanner and Tanner asks him what he is doing. Sam simply says he's wishing for Ivy to receive the worst nightmares she can ever get tonight. Tanner finds this response insane and tells him to stop doing stupid things. Sam then argues back and says he has every right to feel upset at Ivy because she attacked him. She's not the victim. He is. Tanner calls Sam delusional and asks him to stop acting stupid. Their argument wakes up a ton of people, including Jared, Allison, and Boo Boo. Sam storms off, leaving the four of them together. Tanner apologizes to them for waking them up. The sun rises, meaning it's day 2. It's time for the immunity challenge. Justin congratulates all 20 people for making it through day 1 of the game. He welcomes them to their first immunity challenge, but claims it's a bit different. Today, both tribes are competing for individual immunity, meaning one person from each tribe will become immune. That's because both tribes are heading to tribal council tonight to vote someone off. Therefore, not just one, but 2 people will head home. In addition, Justin reveals there's one more twist to this season. Everyone becomes nervous once he mentions the word twist. He reveals that for the entire pre-merge phase of the game, the people voted out will have an opportunity to return to the game right when the tribes merge. Once voted out, the person's rival will then decide the next day whether their rival should have a shot at redemption or not. If they refuse, their rival goes home, but as a punishment, they themselves won't get a second chance if voted out in the pre-merge. However, if they allow for a second chance, they themselves will automatically have a second chance as well if voted out. Everyone who receives the opportunity to return to the game will head to Rival Redemption, a small camp for those voted out. They will remain there until merge, where one of them will battle their way back into the game through a challenge. Everyone is amused by the twist and some look over at their rival, wondering if they'd keep them around or not. Justin then explains the challenge rules. In this, everyone must draw a sketch on a canvas. The highest quality drawing on both tribes will win the person immunity, making them safe from the vote. To determine which tribe goes first tonight, the tribe with the lowest combined drawing value will need to head first tonight. With that, everyone gets into position for the challenge. They begin drawing their own sketches, some going at a faster pace than others. Eventually, both tribes finish, so Justin calculates the value of each drawing. On Hoop High, Sam has the worst value of $73. Second place is Boo Boo with a value of $96. Tanner comes in first with $103, meaning he wins the first individual immunity. On to Hoo Hoo, Justin reveals that Sarah came in last with $71. After that, nobody comes that close to the top 2, which end up being Jaya and Malalum with $103 each. Due to them being in a tie though, it comes down to who finished their painting faster. Since that was Jaya, Jaya is the second individual immunity winner, meaning both Jaya and Tanner are safe tonight at Tribal Council. Since Hoopai have a higher combined total than Hoo Hoo will go to tribal tonight where someone will become the first person voted out of the game. Hoopai will go second where someone will be the second one voted out. Both tribes make their way back to camp. At Hoo Hoo, Liana, Mark, and BJ congratulate Jaya on her immunity win. She thanks them and immediately asks who the vote will be tonight. Liana makes a move by suggesting a name first. She thinks Sophia is a great option as someone who many people don't trust as much. Mark then suggests Karen because he doesn't feel comfortable around her. BJ shakes his head and says that Karen will be a strong asset to the tribe moving forward. Mark squints and reminds BJ that Karen did the worst in the challenge today. Liana says that doesn't mean much because it was a drawing challenge. Mark then reminds Liana that he initially said that his reason for wanting Karen gone was because she is uncomfortable to be around. BJ tells Mark he doesn't have to vote with them, but then he'll be the sole person doing Karen tonight. This pisses Mark off, but he decides to keep his cool. Jaya then asks if perhaps they would be keen to vote Sarah tonight because she's in a similar spot as Karen where she didn't do as well in the challenge. Liana isn't a huge fan of this decision coming down to challenge performance and says she simply cannot trust Sophia. Meanwhile, Sophia talks with Romero and asks him who he thinks should go home. Romero says that Mark is a weird person to be around. Sophia says that although she agrees, she recognizes that physical challenges will come up later, so he's a lock for those. Romero says he's ultimately fine with whoever goes, as long as it's not him. Sophia then suggests they spread Liana's name because she's a weaker tribe member in general and she seems pretty social. Romero says he's cool with this, so they split off. Eric, Karen, and Malum chat about the vote. Eric says that at this point, he's between Sophia and Sarah because they seem like outsiders right now. Karen agrees with this and thinks that Sarah is going to bring their tribe down in challenges. Malum tries to defend Sarah and says that they should probably pay more attention to numbers. He feels like as of now, Liana has something going with BJ and Jaya, making that a dangerous trio. Karen shrugs and says it's actually not a bad pitch. Eric asks Malum who he thinks should go then between BJ and Liana, and Malum thinks Liana is the perfect one to take out. Sarah then joins the three of them and is filled in on the vote as Liana. She's good with this plan, so all four split off. At Hoopai, Sam and Ivy have a chat about where they stand. Sam tells her he felt very hurt yesterday when she got angry at him. Ivy says she did not feel okay with his body language and yawning. She wanted to have a proper conversation with him and he completely turned it down. Sam scoffs and says that if anything, she should be apologizing to him right now for her actions. Ivy bursts out laughing and tells him to keep dreaming for that apology because he's never getting it. Meanwhile, Allison, Emma, and Anna discuss the vote. Emma feels like there's so much tension right now between Ivy and Sam. Allison agrees and thinks Ivy is the better vote to keep the tribe strong physically. Emma disagrees and thinks Sam is a better pick because he's a nasty person in general. Throughout the whole chat, Anna continuously nods her head and agrees with everything Emma and Allison say. Boo Boo eventually joins the women and asks them to just fill him in on the vote for tonight so he knows and can split off from them to look less suspicious. Emma says it's between Ivy and Sam, so he may as well vote whichever because it's probably gonna be a split vote anyway. Boo Boo gives them a thumbs up and heads off. Ivy, Sam, and Tanner have a conversation. Tanner tries to bring Ivy and Sam together so they can vote someone other than each other. He really wants this alliance to work with the three of them and Anna. Ivy shakes her head but doesn't speak. Sam says the only person he would even consider voting is Caden, but that's not a given. Tanner says they can vote Caden if they can each agree to vote him out. Ivy claims she will, and so does Sam. Tanner says he'll fill in Anna and hopefully they can get 2 extra votes on their side, such as Jared and Adriana. With night approaching, Adriana has a quick chat with Jared as she starts to realize he could be a solid ally for her. She offers an alliance with him, in which he responds by asking what an alliance is. Adriana pauses for a moment and assumes he's joking, but he doesn't flinch. She then explains that they would be voting together, so he finds this idea cool. She tells him that she mainly heard 3 names tonight: Ivy, Sam, and Caden. She asks him who he thinks should go, so he blurts out Ivy's name because she once referred to him as an old man, which he did not appreciate. Adriana looks down for a moment and asks him if he has any thoughts about Sam and Caden, and Jared says that Sam is probably the most annoying on the tribe, while Caden is more chill, which he personally likes. Adriana wraps up the conversation with Jared and tells him to vote for whoever he wants at this point. Night 2 hits, and it's time for tribal council for Hoo-Hoo. All 10 arrive and dip their torches into the fire and leave the torches behind them. They each take a seat and Justin starts the discussion. He first asks Jaya how much individual immunity means to her on day 2. Jaya says she probably didn't need the win as much because people seem to like her in general. This necklace likely matters for those who are more isolated. Justin then asks Sarah if she has felt isolated on this tribe so far, and Sarah says she's unsure because she only had conversations with half the people here. It could be a bad sign because that could lead to some people not trusting her early on. Sophia jumps on and says that she actually feels like Sarah is a really genuine person based on the chats she had with her. The reason she wants this to be clear to everyone is because people have considered writing Sarah's name down tonight, but everyone should really be going for the people in strong alliances. BJ has a reaction to that and tells Sophia to chill, claiming it's only day 2 and that alliances aren't solid yet. Malum speaks up and says that although alliances aren't solid, it's still pretty clear which people are forming strong duos and trios just from initial vibes. Justin asks Liana if she thinks anyone here fits the description that Malum stated, and she says there are definitely people here who have a close number 1 ally already. However, when Sophia talks about alliances, she's making it seem like there are groups of 4 and 5 already forming. Sophia shakes her head and says that's not what she means. She did not specify a number. In fact, she knows Liana and BJ is one of those alliances she is referring to. Liana and BJ look at Sophia but say nothing in response. Justin then asks Sarah how she's feeling since she seems really nervous all of a sudden, and Sarah says she obviously feels more on edge after Sophia made it clear people were voting her. Malum and Karen glance at Sarah, and then Justin claims that it is now time to vote.
I'll tally the votes. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and they want to play it, now would be the time to do so. Alright, I'll read the votes. First vote. Liana. Sophia. 1 vote Liana, 1 vote Sophia. Sophia. That's 2 votes Sophia. Liana. We're tied, 2 votes Sophia, 2 votes Liana. BJ. That's 1 vote BJ. Liana. 3 votes Liana, 2 votes Sophia, 1 vote BJ. Sophia. We're tied again, 3 votes Sophia, 3 votes Liana, 1 vote BJ. Sophia. 4 votes Sophia, 3 votes Liana, 1 vote BJ. First person voted out of Survivor Rivals, Sophia.
Sophia looks around and Sarah sighs. Malam looks up at Sophia in shock while Liana, Karen, and BJ keep staring ahead. Sophia places her torch down next to Justin and watches it get snuffed. She says her goodbyes to everyone and walks out. Sarah leans on her arm, feeling very left out. Justin lets everyone know they can now head back to camp, so they all make their way out. Sophia reaches a sign after her vote off and finds out the details about rival redemption. She is informed that her fate will be in the hands of her rival tomorrow morning. She starts making her way to the rival redemption camp. Onto Wopai's tribal council, everyone lights their torch and place it behind the seats. They all sit down and face Justin in horror. Justin immediately picks up on the negative vibe and points it out to everyone. Adriana mentions how chaotic camp has been the last 2 days, so at this point, nobody knows what will go down. Sam then raises his hand and disagrees with Adriana. He says that it's pretty clear this vote is going to go down between 2 people. Justin asks who those 2 people are, but he doesn't specify. Jared then questions whether he is referring to him or not, but Sam shakes his head. Justin asks Tanner if he knows who the vote is between tonight, and Tanner says he has a fair idea. He feels like a lot of people have noticed drama between some people, but it has definitely died down today, so it shouldn't be the sole motivator for how people vote tonight. Ivy agrees and says people should vote the person out they feel the least comfortable with both personally and game-wise. Justin asks Emma if she knows by any chance why she's voting the way she plans to vote. Emma says her decision is pretty much motivated by gameplay. She sees multiple people dragging the tribe down right now and feels like if everyone votes the correct person out tonight, this tribe will be better off without them. Nobody else has anything to say, so Justin gets right to the vote.
I'll tally the votes. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and they want to play it, now would be the time to do so. Alright, I'll read the votes. First vote. Sam. Sam. That's 2 votes Sam. Ivy. 2 votes Sam, 1 vote Ivy. Ivy. We're tied, 2 votes Sam, 2 votes Ivy. Caden. Caden. 2 votes Caden, 2 votes Ivy, 2 votes Sam. Sam. That's 3 votes Sam. Sam. 4 votes Sam, 2 votes Ivy, 2 votes Katie. Second person voted out of Survivor Rivals, Sam.
Sam grunts after hearing his name and gets up, eyeing everyone else as he heads for his torch. Ivy glances up at him momentarily. Sam puts his torch down next to Justin and watches it get snuffed. He heads out without a word and everyone watches him walk off. Justin then lets everyone know they can head back to camp, so they do. While walking, Sam reaches a sign and finds out that he has to head to the rival redemption camp now. He claims he's excited and walks off. Next time on Survivor Rivals. With both tribes tasting tribal council for the first time, the lines turn more concrete. On Hoo-Hoo, Sarah does her best to get out of the minority. Meanwhile on Hoo-Pai, Tanner starts to realize he could be in trouble due to his association with Sam. On the other hand, despite Anna voting Caden at tribal council, she convinces the majority she voted with them. With Sophia and Sam awaiting their fate on rival redemption, will Allison and Sarah decide to keep or cut their exes? Is Sarah going to realize she might need an extra number in Sam going forward? Find out on Sunday's episode. At rival redemption, Sophia and Sam meet up and hug each other. Sophia realizes both tribes voted out a strong member and calls the moves interesting. Sam says his tribe hated his guts, so he wasn't shocked he left. Sophia says she didn't expect to go home because she thought she had the votes to get rid of Liana, but clearly people had other ideas. Sam asks about Sarah, and Sophia says she's actually a very kind person. She tried defending her at tribal council because she thought Sarah was going to get some votes. Sam smirks and says she should have left Sarah to fend for herself because it could have led to her own demise. The two continue talking about their tribes for a while.